Hey, what's up? What's going on? Welcome to English with Dane, a podcast designed to improve your English. As always, I'm your host, Dane, and you can find me on Instagram at English with Dane. If you want a full transcript of this and all future episodes, send me a message, and if you don't use Instagram, send me an email at englishwithdane@gmail.com. Today on English with Dane, we have story time. I'm going to tell you about something that happened to me ages ago, hace mucho tiempo, when I was still at university. I thought we could change things up a bit, and it felt right to tell a story, so here it is. Let's go. You are listening to the 40th episode of Season 2 of English with Dane. Hit it. Okay, we have officially started the show, so let's get into this story. This is something that happened to me like 6 or 7 years ago now, but I remember it as if it were yesterday, como si fuera ayer, as if it were yesterday. So, I was at home one night, and I remember it was hot. This must have been early June, let's say, I think 2014. So I'm sitting at my desk, talking to my friend Brian on Facebook chat. We were talking about music, basketball, or whatever. And suddenly I felt something I had never felt before. I felt a pain in my chest, un dolor en el pecho, that started all of a sudden, de repente. I think I remember taking a deep breath and then feeling this intense pain. So I sit there for a moment just dealing with the pain, and I start to feel pressure now too. It feels like somebody is blowing up a balloon, inflando un globo, in my chest, and as it got bigger, the pain got more intense. It got to a point, llegó un punto, after maybe 20 or 30 seconds where I couldn't sit up anymore. No me podía sentar bien. I was hunched over, my head down, and I couldn't keep my upper body, my torso, straight. I told my friend as the pain started, and I remember he said, "Oh yeah, don't worry. That happens to me all the time." But I knew right away, de primeras, that something was wrong. I remember thinking, okay, in my 22 years of being alive, I have never felt this type of pain, so something must be wrong. At the time, I lived with my brother and a friend of ours. So I went to my brother's room and told him what was happening. He was worried, and he suggested we go to the emergency room if the pain didn't go down or subside in the next few minutes. I told him it was definitely not going down, and we both knew we had to go to the emergency room. This was like 1 or 2 in the morning, by the way. I was doing some last-minute studying because my final exams started the next day. Yeah, the timing was terrible. So, we call one of our best friends, Richie, who's like another brother to us, and who happens to live around the corner. He answers the phone, and we tell him we need a ride as soon as possible to the emergency room, and he answers that he'll be outside of our house in 2 minutes and that we should get ready. We get to the hospital, they take down all my information, and then the doctor comes to see me. I tell him what I was feeling, and he orders some tests. Now, I thought the tests would come back and he would say, "Look, it's just gas or whatever, take this pill and go home." But that's not what happened. He came back and showed me the MRI or X-ray or whatever it was, and I could see how one of my lungs, uno de mis pulmones, was tiny. It looked like a crumpled up plastic bag, una bolsa arrugada. I might be exaggerating, but that's what I remember. The doctor looks at me and says, "Well, your lung is collapsed. You have a pneumothorax, un pneumothorax." He told me it usually happens after a car crash or something with a big impact, but that it can also happen spontaneously in tall, thin males between the ages of 20 to 40. So, me. So he tells me they're going to check me in because I have to stay there until I recover. But it gets worse. So I'm lying on the table and he starts touching my chest a little bit, and I don't know what he's doing. Then he says something like, "No, I don't think we can go in through here." And I thought, what? Go in? What do you mean? And he says, well, we have to put a tube into your lung. He then asks me to turn over and lie down on my side, de costado, de lado. He tells me to move my arm up, and he starts touching like 5 centimeters below my armpit. And he says, yeah, I think we'll go in through here. And then the nurse comes over with a big needle, una aguja, and says, hey, this is going to hurt, but don't worry. And I'm thinking, fuck this. I was just home an hour ago worrying about my syntax exam or whatever, and now I'm half naked on a hospital bed. I can't really breathe, and they're going to put a tube from my armpit into my lung. Fantastic. I'm also worried because I don't know if my parents know yet. I'm worried that my brother is worried, everything. They finally put the tube in, and after a little while, después un rato, they say, no, I think we need a bigger tube. This one isn't big enough. So then they put in a bigger tube. I don't know if you guys are getting the picture, but imagine a tube going into your lung from just the side of your body. Not through your mouth or anything like that. The side of your body. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit. So my mom flew in from Peru literally the next day and came straight to the hospital. About 9 or 10 days later, they decided to operate on me because it wasn't healing that fast. So they put me under, me anestesiaron. And then when I woke up, I was healed. But I was having a panic attack. I remember waking up with my mom and my brother next to me, but me being sure I was gonna die. Because that's what panic attacks do to you. They make you feel like you're gonna die and there's nothing you can do. I finally recovered, and I remember the feeling of leaving that hospital, again, as if it were yesterday. It was the best. My mom and I got into a taxi, and we didn't go back to my house. We went straight to the basketball courts near my house where I knew my friends were playing, and we just sat there and watched them play for a while. I wasn't allowed to exercise or receive contact or take a plane or be underwater or anything like that for around 3 months after that operation, which was also super boring because summer meant playing basketball almost every day, which I didn't get to do. But in the grand scheme of things, it all worked out. I'm fine now, by the way. And the funniest thing is that I now receive a call maybe once a year, and it's always a different friend kind of freaking out because they think they have what I had. But it's never the case. I always tell them, if it happens, you'll know right away. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode of English with Dane, Storytime Edition. I hope you found it entertaining, and if you didn't, well, now you know me a little bit better. I have more of these stories, by the way. A bunch of strange medical things have happened to me over the years, but whatever, it's all good. Things happen to people all the time, right? And it just feels super important when it's us. Don't forget to follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And remember, the best way to support English with Dane is to give it a 5-star rating and leave a review. Oh, and share it, will you? All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.